Right, guys, this is going to be the last self-improvement video you ever need to watch. Right here, I've literally reverse engineered success, abundance, and fulfillment. Fulfillment being sustaining, lasting happiness. This is the exact system that you can use to, literally change your life to achieve all of your dreams, your goals, whether it be like financial abundance, whether it be freedom, whether it be like your dream family and partner, whatever. This is like the exact framework that all the millionaires, all the billionaires are unknowingly tapping into. And right now, I'm going to be sharing it with you. This is what I've used to change my life. This is what I've learned through years and years of trial and error, countless hours of research, meditation, reading, all of these things. And then this is also what God came to me in a dream and told me, because I don't know what I'm fucking saying. But anyway, I'm going to walk you through the whole system. Obviously, like in any pyramid, like maybe think of the food pyramid, the levels lower are always going to be a prerequisite for the level above. So right here at the top, I've got eudaimonia, which is like the ancient Greek philosophy term for flourishing, which is like encompassing of fulfillment and constant growth. And it's like this pure euphoric type state. It's like this optimal state of being, eudaimonia. Maybe I butchered the definition a little bit, but that's okay. This is like really what we're aiming for, fulfillment and abundance. And then moving down, what is a prerequisite for that? We have health. Health is the baseline. If you don't have health meaning functionality of your physical material body, of your mind. Remember, your mind is an organ of your body. So health of body is health of mind, is health of nervous system, is health of you. If you don't have that, you can forget it. Regardless of whichever beliefs you have, regardless of whichever purpose you have, it will be impossible to actually act on these things and to realize this dream life that we're talking about. Yeah, maybe a good synonym for what we've got up here is literally just dream life. Like when you close your eyes and when you think of your dream life and the feeling that arises, that being like this peace, this calm, this gratitude, like that is what all three of these tiers will guaranteed achieve. Starting off at the base tier, at the most important tier, we have health. And I'm talking about like true, real biochemical health. You got to realize today that most people are obviously unhealthy. Like they've grown up on really shit diets. They've been deficient with nutrients their whole lives. They haven't had any amount of adequate nutrition to actually like physically develop mentally as well, cognitively into the strong, healthy human beings that we are genetically coded to be. Obviously, we're also exposed to a lot of pollutions, medications, environmental toxins and poisons that are literally inhibiting like the correct cognitive functioning of our minds. And like it's no surprise why like people are going through the world so dazed. They've literally got fluoride calcifying their pineal gland. They've literally got heavy metals in their brain, in their gut. Like they're not actually functioning as humans. They're all in this like slightly dulled, slightly sick, slightly unconscious state. So in order to actually like fucking change the world and achieve like outlier success, we need to make sure our mind, which is the same thing as our body, is dialed in completely. So in terms of, I'm going to put the inputs on the left. In terms of the necessary inputs for this, we need to have the correct diet. So the diet being like the very foods that for all of human existence, we've evolved to thrive on. So that being raw animal foods. So raw meats, raw eggs, raw dairy, all these sort of things. Because these simply aren't just like two-dimensional foods that, have calories, micronutrients, macronutrients, but they also have bacteria, which are going to be symbiotic with our body, with our gut microbiome. And it literally will bring energy, consciousness, vitality to new levels. So simply, we have diet and we have environment. And what's encompassing of environment is like your light environment, like mitigation of environmental stresses, toxins, pollutants. So like mitigating artificial blue light at night, getting like the correct electromagnetic signals from the ground, all these sort of things. Obviously, I could talk about this all day, but I'm just going to be painting the philosophical picture in this point. So having these inputs for your health are going to result in outputs of, it's hard to write because I'm left-handed, but let's say beauty of both body, and mind. So obviously, if you are correctly nourished during puberty or during the developmental years of your life, you will grow to be a tall, good-looking, healthy man or woman. And this obviously will serve you in the world because you're more attractive by nature of being embodying like a more favorable sexual partner. People generally attribute higher biological value to you unconsciously. So this is like one factor. You're going to have a better looking body, your face, your body, your health indicators. You'll look better and healthier for longer. And that's basically just a representation of your overall functionality. You're also going to have beauty of mind, which a lot of you guys may be saying, what the fuck's that? Beauty of mind. Beauty of mind is the beauty of your thoughts and like the positivity or the vibration of your thoughts. Think back to a time when you were like very sick, for example. You were in bed, you'd eaten like a lot of really low shit quality food, whatever, in a third world country. You got food poisoning, you're in bed, you got barley belly. Mentally, like emotionally, you feel really shit. Like you could doom scroll on TikTok, you could like play Clash Royale or like do any of your favorite things that would usually give you a fucking dopamine hit and like make you feel quite good or relatively good. But because of the compromised biochemical state that you are in that moment, the beauty, let's just say, of your mind, of your first person conscious experience is going to be compromised, which realize everyone's beauty of their mind, everyone's first person experience is compromised due to the compromised health of their body. So everyone today, even myself, even though I'm the healthiest 20-year-old on the planet, even though I've reversed, the degeneration and poor health in my body to such a degree, there's still like the 5%, 10% improvements to be made. You guys have like 50%, 80%, 90%. Maybe some of you are watching this from hospital, you have like 95% of the way to go. And I can assure you that as such, the quality of beauty of your thoughts, of positivity, like the literal vibration of your thoughts naturally, like the baseline vibration. Like obviously as humans, we can consciously think positive thoughts, but the thing that determines the natural baseline, like where our thoughts naturally deviate to or deviate from, say here, like let's just say this is the baseline. If you have positive thoughts, they're going to be more up here, negative thoughts below the baseline. But what determines where the baseline is going to be your health. So people with poor health, you guys have a far lower baseline. So your highs, your emotional highs are equivalent to like my shit day, and your emotional lows are depression. So when you actually work on your health and you fix your health, you get rid of toxins, you get rid of any nutrient deficiencies you have, you nourish the gut microbiome correctly, you learn to like detox naturally, all of this stuff that I do, you will clear out your body and you'll calibrate your body, in turn calibrating your mind and your thoughts. So this is like one super, super important aspect of the health. Another key thing about the health, when you have diet and when you have environment dialed in, is you're going to get, is there even any point of me writing on the whiteboard if you can't read it? But anyway, it says longevity. So you're going to have longevity. So you're going to have like quality, but you're also going to have quantity. So in terms of up here, eudaimonia, living the dream life, you will be living the dream life, like experiencing that true heightened state of fulfillment, abundance, everything, gratitude, bliss, for the longest period of time, and obviously like the highest quality period of time. I mean, I just want to rewind one little bit. I did say that like I myself still have a little bit of a ways to go in terms of healing my body. As you guys have like way more room for growth and healing and detoxing. While there is little improvements to be made, and no one is still yet living at the level of health that essentially is our birthright, that is encoded in our genetics, it doesn't mean that with adequate health, so say past the point of like 50% functionality, you can't make any progress in your beliefs or your purpose or obviously true fulfillment. But the degree to which you have true fulfillment and the degree to which your purpose is accurate and your beliefs are accurate and not swayed by the beauty, by the quality of your thoughts, whether they be positive or negative, a high or low baseline, is contingent on how healthy you are. So I'll use the example to illustrate the point. You've got like a billionaire, for example, Donald Trump. I mean, maybe you guys will understand when I'm talking about beliefs in a minute, but he has an extremely great belief system that is conducive to financial success and financial abundance. But because of his poor health, he is super limited in this scope, and his purpose is of ego, and it's very egotistical, and it is unfulfilling in nature. So because of his poor health, his belief systems are rooted in insecurity, and his purpose is skewed because of his poor belief system, essentially, which ultimately the root cause is shit health. So I'm not making this video to say that you can't become rich unless you're, truly healthy. Like, I've got clients, entrepreneurs who are making like millions of dollars a month, and I read their iridology, I do the full health assessment, and like a good amount of them, I'm going to say 25%, have like genuinely have autism. Like, it's undiagnosed by medical professionals, it's diagnosed by me. They have autism, which objectively isn't healthy, but they're still succeeding at the financial side of things because they have the necessary beliefs. But they will never, until the point of fully healing, recovering their body and bringing their health to a more stable, higher baseline, they will never have an accurate purpose. They will never have fully abundant, all-encompassing positive belief systems, and they will never have true abundance, fulfillment, and happiness, which, I mean, maybe you guys are purely focused on money. I'm going to say you're missing the forest for the trees. And I mean, you can click off this video because this video is answering deeper truths than just getting you some like simple, easy, cheap dopamine of driving like whatever gay fucking supercar. Like, you are put here onto this earth. I don't know, this is getting a bit like biblical or religious, which I'm kind of just waffling at this point, but you are, at least you can be here and have it all. Like, have the abundance, have like whichever car you want, all the freedom, all the money, everything, but then also have the family, the love, the fulfillment, like the genuine, wholesome relationships and connections in your life. You really don't need to limit yourself at all. Like, you can be the all-encompassing God on this green earth. But yeah, so health, super crucial. Health determines and calibrates the equipment by which we are going to tune the mind and tune the purpose for accurate type action, which will do cool stuff. Okay, so now going on to beliefs. I touched on it earlier, but your beliefs are the combination and the aggregation of all the experiences you've had throughout your life, particularly when you've been younger, like between 3 and 12. That includes trauma, that includes things that adults have told you, whatever, and your experiences generally, and like the experiences and things you're used to and consider to be true. And it's these beliefs that will shape how you act in the world, how you perceive the world, and how you act in response to your perception of the world. So the reason why there are billionaires in this world who can succeed despite maybe having similar health to you or a similar physical body, physical vessel to you, is because of their belief system. And I'm going to give you 2 examples of people and belief systems of people who become billionaires, let's just say. So one is the sort of person who grew up around wealth, around money. Maybe their families, their parents were extremely wealthy themselves, and they were privy and aware, consciously aware of what it would be like to have great wealth, and then what it's like to live with and be around great wealth. And these people are really not anywhere near as impressive as you think they are. It's kind of just the saying, the rich get richer, and their wealth sort of stays inside this bubble. And this is due largely to the belief systems. It's like when you grow up around money, when you grow up around people who have money, around people who are making a lot of money, you easily install the beliefs that money is easy to come by, that you actually understand the skills of leveraging, time, virality, attention, anything, these things for money. And it really becomes a much more straightforward thing to attain. I'm lucky enough to have gone to a good school, to have, friends from good families. My parents, do decently well. And I'm also lucky enough in my real life to know millionaires, billionaires, like all sorts of people from all walks of life. And I know, I can tell you right now, like they're all retarded. Like, I mean, some of them are nice guys, some of them are smart people, whatever. But like no one is genuinely that impressive. Like no one. Like there's literally barely any trend. The only trend is they have the beliefs and the purpose and the goals and the ambition. Which ambition, if you didn't know, if you're a man, comes from your balls, comes from your testicles. It's literally just a channeling of your sex drive. Like the reason why men are trying to make money is so they can have the resources to provide and or attract a wife or multiple sexual partners, whatever, but just attention and love and reproduction from the opposite sex. So ambition comes from your balls. So all of the people I've met who are successful, they have the belief system that money is abundant, that money is easy to make. Also one crucial belief they have is that they are the main character in their story and that they will succeed and achieve this dream life no matter what, and that's the path and trajectory they're on. So that is an all-encompassing deep belief, because say any shortcomings they have, whether it be like they're short or they're bald or they're ugly or they grew up in a low socioeconomic place, whatever, household, if you have the one belief that you are the main character of your life and that your life is on the trajectory of embodying, of living your dream life, then you will be on that constant trajectory. And you'll constantly, like mentally, cognitively, always be looking for the next steps that you must take, or like the next aspects of self-improvement, until you actually reach that point, until you embody that psychology, until you've taken all the necessary action. Because what inspires action if not for belief that the action will yield the desired outcome that you're seeking in life? So all these guys had the belief that their action would result in wealth, and the wealth would result in their dream life. So that's something that you're not taught in school. That's like, okay, one example I was talking about before I got sidetracked, the person who is born into it. And then the other example, which I'm going to assume you guys are, because if you're rich already, you shouldn't be watching YouTube. You should be enjoying that wealth and going on holiday. But if you're in the second boat, the person who grows up in poverty, who grows up with limiting beliefs all around them, your parents use fucking coupons to buy dinner and whatever and do poor people stuff, then those are the beliefs that you're going to take on, and you're going to have this like scarcity mindset and this lack mindset when it comes to money. Again, beliefs literally encompass everything from relationships to freedom to everything in your life, whatever. But I'm just going to be talking about finances here because it's like a really straightforward, black and white, 2D thing to understand. So if you're that person who grew up broke, so you've got like a really big attachment to money, you see money as the answer to your happiness, and you also see it as something that can't be wasted, but you also see it as something that doesn't come easily. This is when you need to change your beliefs. You need to essentially hypnotize yourself to have different beliefs, and to expand your consciousness ideally. So by expanding your consciousness, it means to become aware of ideas previously not were aware of. You were previously not aware of. So I'll give an example. So before this year, in January, I hadn't really done much travel. I did have the idea that like money can come easily, and that money is all around you, and that like this sort of abundance mindset. But it wasn't until I'd spent a lot of time in Dubai, I spent time in LA, I spent time in Bali, working with and being around entrepreneurs making crazy, ridiculous amounts of money, that my consciousness was expanded. Because by being there in person and like actually experiencing and seeing firsthand the people achieving, in the financial sense, what I wanted to achieve, it brings it into your conscious awareness and it reshapes your belief systems. Maybe a lot of you guys, if you grew up in the slums or wherever you grew up, you may have the belief that only a select few can become millionaires, or like only people who already have money can have such crazy wealth. But the example, the contradictory conscious expanding experience I had was seeing 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds making millions of dollars, coming from nothing, coming from poverty, like buying a house for their family, paying off the mortgage of their family, all of these things. And that was the experience that shifted that belief. So, I mean, that's one way, is obviously just expanding conscious awareness in that sense by like actually going out and experiencing more, exposing yourself to the sort of views and mindsets that you want to adopt and embody, say, for example, on social media. But then it's also something that you can do consciously through, again, self-hypnosis, auto-suggestion, visualization, but like literally getting into a deep state, theta brainwaves, where your subconscious is malleable, where the beliefs in your mind can be changed and can be altered, and that's when you can implant new ones. So when you're drifting off to sleep, generally I do this to cover like all sort of aspects. This is some serious game, to cover all aspects of my life, but I go to sleep with the feeling that everything in my life is perfect, as if I'm like already living this. And I say to myself, isn't it wonderful? And that is just like a blanket statement that basically reshapes all of my beliefs subconsciously, unconsciously, to become ones that are more conducive with this state. And it also draws me towards like that ideal embodied state. But say, for example, your only focus is finances, or you have like a fuck ton of limiting beliefs in whatever sense, like when you're drifting off to sleep, you want to embody the feeling and the naturalness of the new belief that you want to embody, if that makes sense. So say, for example, you're brokey, you want to get money, you would go to sleep with the feeling of, say, sleeping in your dream mansion, whatever. You'd go to sleep with that confidence, with that assurance, and that in a way would be expanding your conscious experience, your consciousness, raising your conscious awareness to that which it would be like to be wealthy and rich. And it will make your mind find the way and find the necessary way to make the money that much more easily if you implant it in your subconscious mind that that's a real possibility and that's something that you've already physically experienced. Obviously, it's a visualization, but your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between visualized reality or like metaphysical reality and then like tangible reality. So you basically need to go through all of your belief systems. You need to find out like where the flaws are in your psychology, like what are the negative experiences in your life. So you're broke, you can't find a relationship, you are always limited by like stress and by circumstances and whatever. You need to like write out all the beliefs that you do have about your life that are negative. So say money doesn't come easily, it's really hard to make money, only the wealthy can get money, whatever the fuck you believe. Everyone I love always leaves me. I'm ugly, I can't find a relationship, any of these things. And then you need to adopt, which is a very long video, or a very long method. I gave you a bit of an insight in terms of imprinting the subconscious mind, but you need to adopt the mindset, the psychology of the opposite. And that is what will motivate you unconsciously to take the necessary action to attain everything that you want and everything that it would otherwise be holding you back from. Because you are motivated by your beliefs, by your unconscious beliefs. Like say, for example, you see, say two people, person A, person B, both identical physically, whatever, but they have two different beliefs. Person A has the belief system that they are good looking, women are attracted to them, that they are worthy of being loved. And then person B has the beliefs that they're ugly, no one will love me, I don't have an attractive personality even, I have no charm, whatever. And they both look the same, whatever, sound the same, dress the same, have the same amount of money, and they see a beautiful lady on the street. Person A obviously will be more likely to be the person that goes up and gets the phone number or does anything compared to person B, who will likely just stand there and not do anything because they have no beliefs that are conducive with arising that necessary motivation to go take that action. So yeah, I mean, beliefs are not inherently good or bad. So this is what I want to outline, but you got to realize that they are good and bad in the context of arriving you at your dream goal. So if you have beliefs that are counterintuitive and counterproductive to your ideal life, to your dream life, to the things you want to achieve and attain and become, then those are the ones that you need to work on. You first need to realize them. I'm giving you quite a few methods, which maybe all seem a bit unclear, but that's because this is a very candid video. But you need to become aware, firstly, of those beliefs. You need to become consciously aware that you have those beliefs. Then you need to swap them by becoming consciously aware of the opposite, of something else, which again can be through visualization, affirmation, which is like auto-suggestion, like literally repeating things to yourself. And then also like actually physically experiencing the opposite, or something that affirms that opposite belief in your mind. So everyone who's successful, they have like the functionality, they have the belief system, but then you also need the purpose. So the purpose needs to be an accurate vision that is truly fulfilling in and of itself, which a lot of people, they think their purpose is to drive a Bugatti in Dubai, which it will not grant you fulfillment, but it will be, short-lived, cheap, dopamine hit, whatever. But you need to have an accurate purpose, which needs to, honestly, it will come from health, it will come from beliefs, but it will come from, a high level of health and a high level of positive beliefs, basically freeing yourself from insecurity. And then you can understand what you truly want, because so many people think their purpose is something that is like based and rooted in their poor mental self-esteem, their insecurity. Like, for example, bodybuilders, obviously the most insecure men on the planet. Like, if you ask any of them, what is your purpose? They're like, yeah, my purpose is to win the IFBB male pro bodybuilding bullshit, So it's like, if you have like limiting beliefs in the form of insecurity or trauma, or really anything in that sense, that will cloud the judgment of your purpose. The same goes for health. If you have like really poor health, say for example, you're Donald Trump and you're like really deficient in like fat soluble vitamins, which he most likely is because he's got very wrinkly skin and he eats a very cooked, burnt food diet. Remember, the key diet is raw animal-based foods. Then you will have a deficient brain. And when you have a deficient brain, your body is going to be in a state of biological insecurity, which will result in feeling a mental insecurity. You'll literally have uglier, more insecure thoughts because your body feels like shit. And in turn, what's his purpose? Donald Trump's purpose is like, yeah, I'm going to be the president and influence people and do all this bullshit. But really, that's just like an attempted band-aid at relieving the biological insecurity he feels, in turn the mental insecurity that he feels. So you need to make sure these two are dialed in, and then you can know your true purpose, which, if we're being real, unless you were exposed to a lot of microplastics as a kid and like you have zero sexual interests in the opposite sex or like desire to reproduce, your purpose is going to come in the form of family, community, helping others, helping loved ones, but also reproducing and loving. And it's really going to come in the form of that, more or less, unless you're like properly cooked. But then again, you can always get back on that path. Like an example of people who are properly cooked are like CEO women, or girl bosses, whatever, who like neglect or like have no desire or wish to have kids, and they want to pursue like man-made jobs and everything, all that bullshit. They want to climb the corporate ladder because they think that will be their purpose and that will give them the fulfillment. Obviously it won't, because it's a man-made ideal that they're pursuing, so it can't be innately fulfilling. But then the reason why they have no desire to have kids, and they don't have an overwhelming desire to have kids, the same way I have a overwhelming desire to have kids, the same way I'd have kids, today, tomorrow, whenever, is because their health is shit, is because they lack the necessary hormonal composition to motivate them to have kids. Because as humans, our primary objective, biologically at least on a biological level, is to reproduce and to see healthy, vital offspring to continue the human race. So fix your health, it will affect your purpose. Fix your beliefs, it will affect your purpose. Fix your health, it will affect your beliefs. And then when you have your purpose dialed in, which is going to be likely family, community, freedom, in that sense, helping others, then you can truly be in that eudaimonia. You can be in that eudaimonia and you can live your dream life every single day. And I mean, I'm not going to say I'm 20, I'm 20. I've come from like a poor baseline of health. I've changed my health through the raw foods, through the environment, through the detox, all that stuff. I've changed my belief systems. I've meditated for hours a day. I've done, this, that, and the other. I've now really got a really better sense, a good sense of my purpose. And I can tell you right now that the best I ever feel is when my purpose is satisfied, or is like when my purpose is most closely satisfied. When I'm working with clients, when my health is great, when I'm in a beautiful part of the world, when I have absolute freedom, both financially and life-wise, when I am, even like sexually validated, when I'm, say, having those loving relationships and I'm in some sort of relationship or experiencing that sexual validation in some capacity, I feel the most purpose, I feel the most joy, I feel the most fulfillment, and that is conducive to the greatest sustaining, lasting feelings. And that's what every human naturally is striving for, but because we don't understand this three-tiered system, most people never get there. So I just want to reiterate, I want to summarize it because I know I was waffling and I was a bit all over the place, but you got to understand this is like God consciousness projecting right now. Fix your health. You need to become a truly healthy, biochemically sound organism. You don't need to be as healthy as me, but you need to be close. You need to have adequate nutrition. You need to be you need to have no deficiencies. You need to have no more toxins impairing your judgment and clouding your cognition. And you need to do a level of detoxification. And this will improve both the beauty of your body, which will, for the purpose, help you attract a mate, help you have beautiful, attractive kids, but it'll improve the beauty of the mind, which is a new thing I invented in this very video, which is essentially raising the baseline of your mental cognitive vibration. So the healthier you are, the more positive thoughts you have, and this will be a feedback loop. This is a feedback loop that will curate and cultivate healthy, positive beliefs and the beliefs that are conducive to the outcomes you want in life. So the healthy person, sorry to go on a tangent, but the healthy person is more likely to believe that life is good and life is kind and there is abundance and love and unconditional love, whatever, in the world, because they are coming and operating from feelings of love and joy and physical biochemical abundance. So fix that. Also super crucial because health is going to give you longevity. It's going to give you longevity in these true feelings, and it's going to give you longevity in accurately operating these beliefs. So obviously you can't really operate and act on your purpose so well when you're an old man. Ideally, you've already fulfilled your purpose. You've had 20 kids, however many wives you've decided, maybe 1, maybe 3, maybe 10, and you've changed the world or a community in whatever way feels fulfilling to you. But if you haven't, by fixing your health, you're going to give yourself a greater amount of time to do that thing, and to do that thing to a high degree and a high capacity, because the sooner your health will degrade, the sooner your beliefs will degrade, the sooner you become fat, old, and grumpy, and then the less likely you'll be to actually accurately act on your purpose. So that's health. Do that. If you want to do that, I'd recommend joining my community that's linked in the description below, because that's where I have all of the exact course material around how to actually improve your health, like the perfect diet, all the detox protocols, everything. That's a shameless plug. And now, obviously, we ticked health, you've done that. Go onto the beliefs. To summarize, the beliefs are everything that motivate our action, and that motivate our action accurately to our purpose and to what we want to achieve and attain. So examine everything in your mind, examine everything that you consent to be true. So for example, some of you think that you're unlovable, that you're not worthy of love. You need to examine that belief, and then you need to, by whichever means necessary, by visualization, by affirmation, by just literally just physically putting yourself in this situation to expand and raise your conscious awareness, you need to cultivate the opposite belief, or the belief that will be more conducive to actually motivating and manifesting through action. I'm not going to bring in some metaphysical element here, but manifesting through action the desired outcome. So examine all your beliefs, examine all of your beliefs, especially the ones that are in relation to the desired outcomes of your life. You can go so deep as to examine your childhood trauma, what was your relationship with your parents, all that stuff, because that literally will all play a part on your self-worth, on your beliefs. And you also need to realize, an important one that I did speak about, is you need to realize where the insecurity lies, where the lack of self-confidence and self-esteem lies, because that can highly, highly cloud your purpose. Like if you have a small dick and that's something that has like a great amount of insecurity on you because you have the belief that you are less or inherently less worthy of love because of your small dick, then that will cloud your purpose, because all of a sudden you're constantly trying to overcompensate compared to if you had the positive and more conducive belief that, you know, I am just lovable and like worthy of unconditional love as is. Then your purpose can truly be like the clear purpose that we're after, because we can have shit purposes. I'm not going to write anything. We can have shit purposes, which is like drive a Bugatti in Dubai because I'm insecure and I'm bald. Or you can have like true divine purposes, which are the ones that really lead and satisfy this kind of tier and will lead to the eudaimonia. And the true divine purposes come from healthy health and healthy beliefs. And then basically, once you satisfy all of this, you will live life with bliss, with purpose, with big smile on your face, and you won't need to worry about watching any more self-improvement videos, because you can now actually live your life as intended, as you've always dreamed about. You'll have no more pain in your heart. You will no longer be like getting anxiety because you're fucking broke or because your crush didn't text you back, but you'll literally have acted on all these things, and you'll now like be free from any stress and any like real concern, because you'll be actually living in complete alignment and divineness with your dream self, your ideal self, and like the true biological essence of being a human, biological and spiritual. So yeah, thanks for watching the video, guys. Again, I really recommend you check out my private community, which is linked in the description of this video. To improve your health, I also do like touch and cover on like the beliefs and minds and stuff in there. But I recommend you check that out. And then obviously you can work with me one-on-one. But any questions that you have, let me know in the comment section below. Any videos or like, you know, video recommendations for me to make that you'd like me to make, please also leave them in the comment section, because I don't really think too hard about what videos to make. So I can be quite slow to make a video because ideas only come to me so often. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Congratulations if you made it all the way to the end. Apply this stuff, change your life, and send me a photo when you're driving your Bugatti in Dubai. And then I'll tell you to sell the Bugatti and buy a farm.